morning. I'm excited to be back for the Raising Special Kids Connecting live Facebook session for this Friday. I'm so excited to talk with you and introduce our guest here in a few minutes, but hopefully everyone's seeing that notification and logging on. Again, this is our Connecting Live, and we're going to talk about our new name in a little bit here. Facebook series that we do every other Fridays. We alternate with the Spanish Facebook Live page for Raising Special Kids, and we're always here to bring important topics and news to families for information to support them as they raise their child with disabilities. As in a way of an update for the organization, I hope you guys follow our class calendar. So if you go to raisingspecialkids.org, there's a section that has events and training, and we have some really neat opportunities coming up that you can check out. It's wonderful as they're free to families. One of them is Raising Special Kids had the opportunity to partner with Family Voices to help create a webinar for families to have some tips and strategies to navigate that telehealth visit that we're experiencing as we take our kids virtually to the doctor. It's a great opportunity and very helpful, so I encourage you guys to check that out. We also have a NICU support group. So if your child has been in the NICU lately, within the past year, or you're a current NICU family, please check out our website, contact Raising Special Kids. We'd love to have you join our support group. It's a really safe, comforting place to relate to other families and to hear from guest speakers. And we would love to have you, so please check that out. We also have a Buy-in for Youth class coming up. This is a training for teens and young adults with disabilities to learn self-advocacy skills. We have partnered with Diversability, a wonderful organization, to present this training, and it would be a wonderful opportunity for your teens and young adults to join. So head on over to raisingspecialkids.org and sign up for one of those trainings today. So now for today's topic, I am really excited to be joined by one of our staff members at Raising Special Kids. We are going to be treated today to have Mr. Christopher Tiffany, our executive director here at Raising Special Kids, chat with us about what we've been up to this last year and moving forward what Raising Special Kids will look like in 2021 and how we can serve our community. Just to introduce him to our audience a little bit, Chris came from a special education background in the public school system in Central Phoenix. He brings that experience and expertise to the table when he helps us at Raising Special Kids and also supporting families in the community. Him and his wife, Paulina, have a teenage son with autism, and he really is passionate about helping families raising children with disabilities in our state and also partnering with organizations to really bring parent support to Arizona and be there for the families that, we're all going through this, raising our kids with disabilities. So with that, thank you, Chris. I'm really excited that you could be here today.
Thank you, Brittany. It's you said that I have a teenage son, and I'm still coming to grips with that. He is 14, and you're right, he is a teenager, but I don't see it that way. So thank you for bringing that. That's great. I'm really thrilled to be on today. This is my first time doing a Facebook Live, so thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to do this with you today. So I have gathered some questions, as you know, just kind of reflecting on what the pandemic has looked like for Raising Special Kids and some things we've shifted in the way we do family support and also the way that we've continually been able to serve our Arizona families. So if you don't mind, I'll just kind of go through these questions and we can kind of chat back and forth about what we're going to discuss. So
yeah,
I'll get started.
That's great. Thanks, Brittany. Go ahead.
Okay. So Chris, as you look back over the past year of this pandemic, can you please share with our audience some of the ways that we as an organization adapted to serve our families in the community?
Yeah, that's a really big question. And thinking about, what things looked like back in March of last year and April of last year, there have been a lot of adjustments and a lot of changes without trying to lose that focus on the one thing, that family who's raising a child with a disability or special health care need. But, some of the things that we had to do right away was to really build support for our staff to make sure that everyone could continue to do their work from their home. And there was a lot of meetings. You probably remember all the meetings that we used to have and continue to have, much more than it was when we were in person out of our central office. But that we found that constant communication really helped us to stay connected and together as an organization so that we could continue our mission. Some of the technology changes that we made, we've been wanting to, as an organization, really lean into virtual platforms and make our services more accessible. And the pandemic kind of forced us to do that on a accelerated timeline. And so we moved very quickly to doing these types of things. Facebook Live is something that came out of those adjustments. Our speaker series, some other collaborative activities that we've done with state agencies and community partners on virtual platforms. And then just, what we do on a day-to-day basis, talking with families, helping to the extent possible work through concerns and challenges that they're having with their children.
Thank you. I mean, I know as a member of the staff, I will say, it was wonderful to have the support of you and the board as we transitioned. And I think we did a pretty good job very quickly. I didn't notice a stumble in our services. We were still keeping up with our queue and calling families every day. And it's been neat to see the way we've done outreach. And I've loved being a part of that. So thank you for kind of highlighting that for our listeners.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
I have a follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah.
You mentioned the board, and I do want to say they were and are extremely supportive, and they were involved every step of the way through the transition.
Thank you. Well, you touched on it a little bit, Chris, but can you talk a little bit about the use of technology and how that changed how we normally do outreach?
Yeah. Well, we pre-COVID times, we have staff located throughout the state in central, northern, and southern Arizona. And, one of the things that we really try to do is to get to all of Arizona's diverse corners in person, to attend things like back to school events, attend things like disability fairs, transition fairs, those types of things that are happening out into the community. So when the state was locked down initially, and then still kind of operating under a lot of COVID restrictions, we really had to rethink that and lean into social media and technology to try to get the word out about the services that we provide and the supports that we offer. So again, what we're doing right here today is a part of our outreach strategy. To be able to get in front of families that may need our help and our services.
Thank you. And for families listening in, our virtual offerings have increased. So please check out our class calendar. It's almost easier, Chris, I'm sure you can agree with this, for parents sometimes to be able to log on their phone or their computer and take one of our trainings. Of course, we miss that in-person connection, and someday hopefully we'll get there. But I have heard from other parents that it's almost easier to attend our trainings because we've gone so much more virtually.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. There is, like you say, there's no substitute for being in a room with a group of parents who are sharing their experience with each other. That is a big part of what kind of connecting our families is all about. However, we don't have staff in every community in Arizona. And so it does provide an opportunity for folks that wouldn't traditionally be able to come into Phoenix or into Tucson or into Yuma or Kingman or Tuba City to be able to access those, like you said, from their phone, tablet, computer, or their other device.
Thank you. So I know we were talking about outreach. What are some ways that we've adapted and changed about the way we do, our regular family support, families calling in? Has any of that changed?
Well, the mission of family support remains strong at Raising Special Kids. So, our philosophy is that, families call or are referred to us for assistance, and they're served or they're helped by a family support specialist or staff that has a shared lived experience of raising a child with a disability. And so we believe that initial peer-to-peer support is the most helpful. Now, we do have our parent-to-parent connection program that matches families with children with maybe a similar or same diagnosis or presenting issue, and that has not changed at all. So I guess short answer to your question is the work of family support has not changed. The delivery has not changed too much either. Much of that support prior to the pandemic was delivered over the phone, email, text, other methods. We do serve anywhere from 9 to 11,000 families a year. So a great deal of that support's always been telephonic.
Thank you. And if you are a family listening, or you know someone that might need support or guidance raising their child with a disability, please call us. I know that we'll put our information in the chat. You can call our office, and we really try hard to stick to a 24-hour turnaround to call back that family and give you some guidance. You also can refer yourself on the website. So please reach out to us. We want to help you. So, Chris, what are some of the challenges that we faced as an organization as we had to adapt and change so quickly?
The challenges as an organization, I think all of us are, I should say almost all of us are parents of children with disabilities. Many of us have children that are still in school. I think the challenges were that, we were providing supervision for our students' education. We were managing our marriages or our partnerships. We were also trying to work full-time, all from the home. And I think that was a challenge that each one of our staff, and I will even say each and every family in Arizona and likely the United States had to manage. So our experience, I think, was not necessarily unique. It was unique in the sense that, we were all here for each other, and I think we all had a good understanding of what each other were going through. So I think that made kind of weathering that challenge possible it certainly did for me, and I think for a number of our staff as well.
I would definitely agree. And I think too, it helped us relate to the families calling in.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of phone calls, as you know, over this past year of parents overwhelmed with virtual learning or trying to hold a job and make sure their kids have care, and everything that entailed. And I know as a family support specialist, it really helped me, and I'm sure all the rest of us relate to the families that we're serving.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of that, Chris, what are some of the key concerns that parents needed assistance with as they called us this last year?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I'm really glad that you asked it. We at Raising Special Kids, I think it was the kind of that mid to late March timeframe. There was this period of 2 weeks that was, in my opinion, eerie, because I'd never experienced it before at Raising Special Kids, and it'll be 11 years, and I've been with the organization in July, and the eerie feeling was that the phones were not ringing, and they were here and there, but it was not what we would typically expect. And when they were ringing, they were the calls were much different than they typically are, about accessing healthcare, education, resources, those type of things. The calls were about basic needs. They were about housing and food and economic security, and those types of things. So we made a decision early on that we were going to reach out to families that we'd been working with last week, last month, last year, and our management team was great. They were able to use our technology and our database to, help our staff with lists of families that they had served. And we started making outreach calls to them. Hi, how are things going? How are you doing? What do you need? What's going on? And again, in those first 2 months when, schools were kind of closed and there wasn't, a real well-developed kind of return to education in a remote setting plan. Well, I'll just explain what it looked like for my child. We had about 30 minutes a day for, 3 or 4 days a week. And that was kind of his special education program at the time. So challenges ranged from what we've already discussed. Behavior absolutely was a challenge, and many families were struggling with behavior issues. Imagine we've all been kind of cooped up for a year now, well, over a year, depending on how comfortable we are going out now. But yeah, that was a big issue. And then sorry, Brittany, I did write a few notes. I didn't want to miss any of the challenges. There were a lot of challenges. They were also unique as school started back up in this fall. Things like education evaluations. How does my child access appropriate services in school? How does my child participate in their behavioral health therapy? A lot of different types of questions that we worked really closely with our community partners to be able to answer.
Very true. And I was going to comment about the community partners, but just speaking from my point of view, it was nice too to be able to reach out to the state agencies that serve our kids and get some of these questions answered in such a time of crisis, because we had never had this experience where schools were being shut down till the end of the year, and understandably families were stressed and nervous. And so I am sure you agree, we're so grateful for the partnerships we have with our state agencies that helped us respond to the needs of these families very quickly and try to get updates and information out to them.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Grateful, absolutely. And, the responsiveness, I think, was, something that when we called, they answered and they came. And you asked me about, prior to coming on here, you had asked me about some of our past episodes. And I was looking through that, and I'm seeing Arizona Long-Term Care, DDD. I'm seeing the Arizona Department of Education, the Arizona Early Intervention Program participating, the Family Engagement Unit from the Arizona Department of Education participating. And it was just very nice that we were able to kind of harness those relationships and have those folks be available to provide that accurate information to families in a very difficult time.
Very true. And you lead it very well into the next question, highlighting some of our Facebook Lives. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about maybe some of the speaker series or, virtual platforms we did this year and broadcasted on our social media pages and our website?
Sure. I'm not sure if this one, I wasn't able to find this one on our website, but we participated with the Arizona Center for Disability Law, the Arizona Department of Education, NAU, the University of Arizona, and other disability organizations and agencies to put together a 3-part series at the end of last school year, really to talk about. The first part was a listening session, so it was really just to hear the needs of the community, and it was this wonderful collaborative activity. And then the second session was to provide information and guidance on what the school year might look like moving forward. And then the third one, I believe, was an extension of that. Throughout this pandemic, I have been wrong at guessing, what is going to happen. And I think that a lot of us have been. And so going through activities like that and having conversations with folks that are dedicated to making it work was something that I'm proud of.
I would agree on that. And I know one of the other speaker series we did with Jennifer Kubachevsky on the legal considerations and options. I can't think of the title right now. Yeah. I know a lot of families have really found that valuable and useful. And for families listening in, we do on our new website, which I hope you've checked out. It looks beautiful with our new look and logo. We have these uploaded there in the video section, so you can go back and listen, and they're really informative. And a lot of the topics are still applicable for families right now because we're still in COVID-19, as you know.
Yes, we are. Yes. Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, a big thank you to Jennifer for doing that. Jennifer is our past board president, and she is just a very dedicated to service of people, families of people with disabilities. So I'll publicly say thank you to Jennifer for doing that with us.
Thank you, Chris. So I will tell you, I've had this question asked of me of parents lately, and I'm sure I'm not the only one at Raising Special Kids. When will we be returning to in-person services? Do we know yet?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'll just kind of describe what our process has been in making that determination. Early on, we decided that we would assess that every quarter. So on the quarter, we would look at public health data, we would talk with our senior management team, our board leadership, and we would make a determination on when does it look like we're ready for a phased reopening. So while I can't give you the answer to when will Raising Special Kids look like it did before the pandemic, likely it will come in phases.
Okay.
We'll start bringing staff back into the office, those that are comfortable. We'll maybe be doing some by appointment only meetings, those types of things. And our central office is located in Ability 360, and it's I go in there occasionally, at least once a week, and it is starting to come back to life, and things are kind of opening back up. But we're still, a staff of parents that have children with complex medical conditions and disabilities, and one of our top priorities is the safety and health of our staff and their children.
Well, I can personally give you a thank you for that. And it is just nice to know that, we have a leadership and board that respects that. And I'm excited for when we can eventually be in person. But I think it's wonderful that Raising Special Kids is taking into account what's going on in the pandemic and trying to, support the families who work here and also the ones we're serving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really personally excited about this question. You may have noticed when I introduced our Facebook Live today, people listening in, that I had a different name. And so as we shift from Here with Families, Here for Families to Connecting Live for this series, Chris, can you talk about why we decided that? Why connecting?
Well, I think connecting describes what Raising Special Kids does best. In looking at our programs and our services, you couldn't necessarily describe them without the word connecting. So our parent-to-parent connections, our individual assistance connects families with family support specialists. We do a lot of work with community partners, connecting with them. It's also, Connecting is the name of our print newsletter. And the very first edition of that came out in 1979. So the name Connecting is also a nod, I guess, to all the folks that came before us at Raising Special Kids, and it's a good name, and so that's why we chose it. It was already existing within our organization, and I believe it aligns really well with the philosophy of our organization as well.
Me too. When doing, requesting family support, I feel like many times parents say this: I'm looking for emotional support and connection. So it just aligned perfectly, and we hope you all like it. But from now on, you'll see us introducing it as Connecting Live. Okay, so looking back at 2020, what are you most proud of for Raising Special Kids?
That is again, that's another big question, Brittany. What am I most proud of? I think what I'm most proud of is the incredible resiliency and dedication of our staff. I think that is the thing that I'm most proud of, the way that all of our staff responded to such a drastic change in their work life, in their home life, in their children's lives, and the ability to come through, almost stronger on the other side of it. It has not been an easy year. for anyone, and our staff included. And so I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud of. Um, Also, we've done some kind of organizational changes, some of our initiatives. One of the things that we really wanted to do was reduce our wait time for families. When families called in, traditionally, and when I came on, it was a 48-hour turnaround, or 2 business days. We worked a lot on getting that down to a 24-hour or a 1 business day turnaround time, because we know families need that information. They need it quickly. They need that connection quickly. You know, Google is a wonderful, wonderful tool, but it doesn't always have the, it doesn't connect you with another parent of a child with a disability. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of. And then just, our strengthened partnerships over the past year, because, organizations and agencies really did need to work together, and I believe they did so really well.
Thank you. I'm sure all of us at Raising Special Kids would echo the same feelings. And, there are some silver linings. Of course, we wish our world didn't go into a pandemic, but I feel like we've had to adapt and learn new things and adjust. And there are some positives that came out of this for Raising Special Kids. So Chris, what can we look forward to in 2021? What else is Raising Special Kids going to be up to and doing for our Arizona community?
Well, you mentioned a few of them already when you opened. The NICU support group is a program that we're very excited about and pleased to be a part of. The By and For Youth initiative that we have going in partnership with Diversibility Incorporated, is something that we, again, are also very excited about. Reaching youth and young adults with disabilities directly is something of a priority for us. The one thing that we will continue to focus on is parents and families of children with disabilities. And I have this saying that I've used over the last year, keeping the one thing the one thing. No matter what happens, if we keep families at the center of everything that we do, then we're going to be okay. And that's we're going to continue with that philosophy as well into 2021.
Thank you. I know that that's kind of been instilled in us as a mantra every day to think about the one thing and the families that we want to serve. And so I personally love that. And I know all of us, we focus on that when we're trying to serve our community. So Chris, before we wrap up Connecting Live, what would you like our families to know about Raising Special Kids and how we can help?
Well, I think, I'll do the kind of the elevator speech, and then I'll probably add to it. But, how Raising Special Kids can help is connecting families of children with either a new diagnosis or an existing diagnosis, but a new presentation of a new behavior, connecting them with family support staff that are knowledgeable and trained in navigating the systems that are really designed to serve those children. Those aren't easy systems to learn and understand. So that's why Raising Special Kids exists. Healthcare systems, education systems, connection to parent mentorship, and ultimately connection to a larger community of support to help move folks beyond isolation into a network of support. So that's how we can help. All of our services are at no cost to families, and we provide services in English and Spanish, and we also provide interpretation services for any language or mode of communication that families speak.
Thank you. And if you're a family listening in, or you know someone in your life that could use support, please call Raising Special Kids. Like Chris said, we are here to help. The majority of us are raising children with disabilities ourselves, and we really care and empathize with the families that call in, and we can connect you with knowledgeable, the resources that are accurate and help you navigate healthcare or education or behavior or the many other topics that we've discussed today. So to wrap up, I want to say thank you, Chris, for joining us today. It was really nice to hear from you as our leader for Raising Special Kids and just get your perspective on how it's been going this past
Well,
year as we've gone through this together.
no, thank you, Brittany. It's a real honor. I've been watching these. I've been watching these all year, and it's a real honor to be on and to be able to talk with you.
I just wanted to share too that in the comments, we've been getting a lot of thank yous and praises for you and the support you've provided. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, thanks.
And for
Thank you. It's nice
families,
to hear.
sure. And for families, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining us today. Something to look forward to in a couple weeks. I will be back. We'll be talking about summer opportunities. Our phones are starting to ring a lot about families wondering, what are DTS hours and how do I get summer programs, and are there summer programs this summer for my child with disabilities? So stay tuned for that. And with that, we hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thanks, guys.